Welcome in, everybody, to another Cleveland sports podcast. My name is Andrew. I'm with Jordan. Jordan, I don't know what's going on in Los Angeles. What's happening in
Mhm.
Wisconsin? This a little update of what's going on in my life is that it is raining like every day,
Okay.
and it is foggy all the time and
Mhm.
wet. So it's just like I feel like I'm living in a swamp,
Yeah.
and it is really like it's just changing. It doesn't feel like summer anymore. It feels like some weird fifth season has developed where like the monsoon season, I guess, is really what it feels like. It is currently raining. I have not seen the sun today,
Wow.
and it's just damp. It's just damp all the time. It's not hot, but it's damp. So I don't love it, honestly. I'm not feeling good about it because I'm not feeling like the end of summer stuff. I'm feeling more like um, I don't know, gotten lost on a planet from Avatar.
Yeah, no, it sounds like things have taken a turn for the worse
Yeah.
with you, and
Mhm.
I'm really sorry to hear that. I think it sounds like yeah, you may have you're living on like an English port town or something with the fog
Yeah,
rolling
I
in.
right, exactly. I'm in Portsmouth somehow.
Yeah,
That's what's happening. That's what's happened here. Yep.
yeah, you
Yep.
moved and you didn't
Yep.
tell me,
Whoops.
and here you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Whew.
no, it is. It's just sunny and hot here
Oh,
mostly,
okay.
which is kind of just like the
I mean, that's what yeah,
every day.
that's what they kinda tell you to expect out there.
That's what they tell you to.
Yeah.
I will say that I am ready. I get to a point
Yeah.
in summer, which is right about now, where
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, I'm ready for the
Yeah.
temps maybe to go down a little bit. I'm ready for that. I think so. I've hit that point, and that is always the point, Andrew, that coincides with the beautiful game of football
Oh,
coming back.
yeah,
And
absolutely. Yeah.
so while it may be wet and foggy where you
Yeah,
are,
somehow.
somehow,
Yeah.
which is strange. And again, we're not sure where Andrew
Nope.
is, and we can't fully confirm it.
No, that's right.
But there were preseason games the other night,
Gosh, there sure was.
last night
Last
even.
night, as a matter of fact, yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Talk about not knowing where you are. Yeah.
hey now,
Yeah.
and there were guys throwing the football and players doing stuff,
Yeah.
and we're just we're back. I guess we're
Oh,
back.
man, it's such a weird sport to watch when it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's
Oh
such a
yeah.
strange like, everything that you think you know about football goes out the window for 3 weeks a year, and the NFL is apparently just fine with that.
And I think it's this annoys some people. I find it the most fun part of the
Yeah,
preseason
you like
because
it. You're a
it,
real sicko.
no, not even in that way. Well, actually, probably in that way, but also the other way I am a sicko is I love watching somebody see one clip of a
Yes.
player.
Yeah.
And Drew Aller is who I'm
Of
specifically
course. Yeah.
referring to because he obviously has Cleveland roots.
Mhm.
A lot of Browns fans were interested in the Browns taking him at some point. He went back to school inexplicably
Yeah.
and then sort of lost all his luster. But he is now with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think he had a 3 touchdown game.
Mhm.
It's so funny because you see like the stat lines and it's like Drew Aller 3 touchdown game, and then like you watch 2 of the touchdowns and they're just like a wide open swing pass to a running
Mhm.
back in the flat, and that comes quote tweeted with like somebody from Cleveland who's like, I swear to God, if Drew Aller haunts the Browns with the Steelers for the next decade. And you're like, you know what, man? This is what
Yeah.
preseason is for.
Mhm.
It's for making those sort of
Yes.
one clip that you see in a preseason against guys that are like also working construction jobs on the side. Um, and
Yeah.
making a proclamation like, wow, the Browns messed up.
Right.
Like I
Yeah.
I love that. I live
Right.
for that.
That's exactly the type of sicko that I thought you were. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Because you this is secondhand enjoyment essentially because like you are not really I mean, I'm gonna guess, Jordan, did you even watch that game? Were you
Oh
watching that
God,
game?
no,
No, you're
absolutely not.
watching social media watch football is what you're doing.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
The-
And if
yeah,
if you do that, it is that the Browns once again, everybody
of
is now
course.
rehashing the missed opportunity to take
Yeah,
Francisco Mendoza because of one pass.
right.
Great pass,
Yep.
nice little bullet over the middle. But the hyperbole is my favorite part because
Mhm.
you do realize how little this stuff matters. I mean, I think there's some things in preseason that matter, but so much of it does not matter. And every year we learn this, and every year we go through the same thing where people
Yeah.
are just like, but what if this means exactly what I think it means.
What if this means that everything that we knew about football doesn't apply anymore? And
Yeah, exactly.
everything. What if everything's changed?
And I don't want that to ever go away, because
I agree.
that's the point of preseason, because otherwise
Yeah.
preseason is pretty awful, pretty unbearable, to be honest.
Yeah. I got home a little bit later last night, and so by the time I got home, all the games that had started at 7 or whatever were off.
Yeah.
So I watched a little bit of the second half of Titans 49ers, and then I was
Oh,
just
so
like,
you were watching late. You were watching West
I was just,
Coast.
what am I mean,
Preseason
well, this is
football.
this is where Central Time can get you a little bit. It's
Yeah,
like,
you can.
if you've got an evening planned, this has happened to me with the Guardians a lot this year. Like, I'm out, I'm doing one or two things. I get home at like 8:30, and I'm like, all right, let me check out the second half of this baseball. Nope, it's been done for 20 minutes.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that is a little bit tricky with things that start promptly at like 7 Eastern. Is you are not catching the end of it. It's great for like a national championship game when those things don't start till 8:30. I'm like, I'm locked in.
You're
But
flying.
right.
Yeah.
But for the stuff that like does start promptly with like a Guardians game that's like a first pitch of 5:40, they might as well just schedule that thing in the middle of the night, man. I'm not seeing it. It's just not happening. So
They're not capturing the Andrew
they're not
demographic
capturing
for
the
that game.
foggy audience.
The wet and humid audience is not getting there.
It's being
Nope.
missed. I had a similar thought with the Drew Aller. Well, specifically the first one, I don't even think it was a touchdown because the kid got caught at like the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
But as much as everybody's like freaking out about Drew Aller, I'm like, what about Caden Wetchen? Is like the white punt returner from Iowa going to haunt the Browns for 20 years? Because that feels more reasonable to me somehow.
That feels way more
like the guy who's like 5'9", you know?
Yeah.
And you're like, how is he outrunning Denzel Ward? How is he taking this thing to the house right now? Like, what?
I'm sorry, he's 20 yards ahead of Denzel Ward, is what you're saying?
Tyson Campbell, I know, ran a 4.3. What is going on?
Yeah.
So that feels way more likely to me of like he's going to like break 2 punts, on that Thursday nighter and like, become a Pittsburgh legend specifically for that. Like that feels more plausible than the Drew Aller thing, which is, like you said, it's just him hitting the open guy.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, listen, I get, especially with rookies, you're high on, or especially quarterbacks that you're like, you forget that like their backups are Will Howard and now Drew Aller. Like it's a very funny, it's a very funny quarterback room they've got behind Zen Master Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, the whole room is
the whole room
let's
be real.
It's a mess.
It's a mess. But the Browns get to take their turn on Saturday, Andrew, and I'm not sure I'm ready.
Well, I mean, you already laid out that things don't matter, right? None of this means anything. I mean, it certainly doesn't mean anything when Deshaun Watson is starting. Apparently, he's going to play the entire first half. Okay. I mean, there was this weird thing we haven't talked about yet that happened last weekend where Sanders was supposed to get the first team reps, and then, I don't know. I mean, you can take your guess as to what actually happened. I don't think it really matters, but he didn't. Watson got the reps and had a few good days of practice there in a row. And then all of a sudden the story becomes like he's kind of in position to start the season and Sanders is behind. And so Sanders is going to start the second game, and then they're going to announce that Watson's the starter before the third game would be my assumption of where we're headed from here. I mean, like if you're listening to this, if you listen to us ever, you know how we feel about this. Like I don't have to break down my feelings on watching Deshaun Watson play football for the Browns in 2026. Like enough said, man. I mean, like what I really wish is that I wish that, I mean, I'm excited. Like, let's get him the hell out of there. And then we can watch some of these other kids. You know what I mean? Like I want to see Taylon Green, man. Like I want to see some of the wide receivers at the back end of the list. Obviously the front guys, but I don't know that they're going to get the ball because of how bad the quarterback is. So like it's a little bit like the weather here, like I wish I could enjoy the end of summer, but instead it's raining. And I wish I could enjoy a Browns preseason game, getting hyped about Denzel Boston, but instead it's going to be like, Deshaun Watson dirting the ball on a screen, or like whatever.
Yeah, it's twofold with it. It's one, wow, we're really gonna have to watch Deshaun Watson start X amount of games for the Cleveland Browns 2026. Yeah. But it's also like that also means, Andrew, that Shedeur Sanders can apparently not beat out the husk of Deshaun Watson. So not only does it sort of like make you have to watch Deshaun Watson play football again in a meaningful way, and the redemption stories that are being pre-written right now are just gonna be they tried to do this a little bit last year, Andrew, and we
Of
talked
course.
about this on the pod where
Yeah.
it's like, and he's been on the sidelines every game, and he's
Yeah.
he's in the quarterback room, and he's got
Right.
a new perspective on things. So they started doing that, and I can only imagine if he plays like if he has an average game,
Yeah.
the fluff stories that
Mhm.
are going to be pouring out from everywhere. So
Mhm.
already looking forward to that.
Are
But
you?
no, no. I say that when I say that, I mean I'll light myself on fire right
Yeah.
on this
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah. Great.
Um,
Something to look forward to,
stay,
folks.
yeah, stay tuned for that, folks. Our 100th subscriber gets to watch Jordan light himself on fire.
I mean, honestly, it's why we did video. Like, we've been kind of low key about it. We haven't been
Yeah.
bragging, but the reason we did video is
Yeah.
because eventually we're both just
I
going
didn't
to
want
light
to.
ourselves.
I don't
at
want
different
to
times.
ruin the surprise, but
Yeah. But it's out. Cat's out the bag now.
Yeah, but it's also just another reminder of how insane taking the
Yeah,
two
of course.
quarterbacks that they did was, because if you can't at this point
Mhm.
in year 2 for Shador make enough improvement, like I just get the sense, Andrew, that, and Todd Monken has said this publicly,
Yeah.
multiple
That's
times.
how you know.
That's how you know. But he's been like, a lot the things that matter to me in a quarterback are, can you get up to the line of scrimmage with a clean operation? Can you do
Such a
things
low bar.
pre snap that aren't already putting you
Yeah.
behind the 8 ball? And he had to apologize for how emotional he got at the end of one of the practices because they could not do just that. And I don't think it's hard to connect the dots that the bar for Shador Sanders to clear in terms of that stuff seems pretty low, and it's not happening.
Right.
And he feels more comfortable with Deshaun, who I guess at the very least maybe can like get the players into positions they need to be before the ball gets snapped. Now, what happens after the ball gets snapped, that is an entirely different story.
Yeah.
But like the fact that it seems like Shador is not really any further along in that area does not bode well for him as an NFL quarterback in any way. And it makes this doubly depressing, I think. If I can put it like that.
No, I think that's true. I mean, I think I have a strong suspicion that we'll end up seeing both quarterbacks this year. So
for sure.
I mean, does it? The only reason that wouldn't happen is if Sanders takes losing this competition so poorly that they have to move on from him in one form or fashion, right?
Oh no.
Yeah, exactly. And in that case, then we're going to see Watson and Dylan Gabriel. But
yeah.
I mean, I didn't watch a second of the game, but Anthony Richardson had a nice performance last night for the Colts.
He did.
If the Browns, what I would say is if the Browns cared about winning this season, spinning them a 3rd round pick or 4th or whatever it takes to get him, unless they're asking for something insane, would give you a better chance of winning football games this year. Because if nothing else, Todd Monken's going to figure out how to use a quarterback of that athleticism to, really invigorate the run game, even if the pass game remains a disaster. But they can't do that because they've painted themselves into multiple corners. There's somehow, it's like
they're in a lot of corners.
It's like they're painting a floor and they've got 1 foot in the bottom right corner and 1 foot in the bottom left corner. They're like, how am I straddling this floor? I'm in 2 corners. How did I did this really poorly. That's where because the Sanders thing puts them in one corner, the Watson thing puts them in another. They managed to do it twice. So I mean, I don't expect anything to change with the quarterback room. I expect that we're going to see probably all 4 of them at some point this season. I mean, however many they keep on the roster, we're going to see. Plus, Bailey Zappi or whoever isn't on the roster now, but has Todd Monken's phone number, right? Like
Bailey Zappi is somehow always around lurking somewhere.
He's available.
If there's one thing about Bailey Zappi, it's that he's available.
Yeah, he can be reached. So I mean, man, every week I'm like, let's talk about something else with this team, but it is,
we can't.
It's the situation that they've created, and it's just the way that it goes. I am excited. I'll just, in terms of like talking about what else could happen in this preseason game, right? I am excited to see the rookie wide receivers. I am excited to see Todd Monken's offense operate a little bit with whoever is at quarterback. Because, it is going to be a different offense for the first time in Cleveland in 6-7 years, right? Which that's a pretty big deal. I mean, we know that Stefanski went through iterations, but I definitely built up a kind of callus from watching a lot of very conservative play calling over the time that Kevin Stefanski was here. And I think you can say whatever you want about Todd Monken. I don't think that's going to be the case with this team. Like, he's going to get them to push the ball down the field more. And I think, I would say that the pass game will probably be more innovative than what Stefanski was running out there for the past few years. So, like, I'm excited to see what that looks like. And then I think there's a fair number of questions about the defense beyond the guys at the top of the depth chart. And I would be curious just to kind of see how some of those things shake out. I mean, one of the things that's been interesting to me, Jordan, and I'm curious if you've picked up on this, is that I think some of it is just like when you're in training camp for a while, only watching one team practice, you start to get better at talking yourself into how they could be good.
Oh, for sure.
But like Daniel Oyefusi was on like some radio show today and was like, if the quarterback thing works out, this could be like an 8, 9, 10 win football team. And I'm just like, wow, okay. So
all right.
Like, I think he knows what he's talking about. I think he's a smart guy. So is there a little bit of building optimism for this team that is caveated by the quarterback position? I think a good preseason performance, regardless again of what happens at quarterback, would kind of give some legs to that.
For sure. And I mean, I think you've already seen, just because of, I think the offensive skill positions appear to be at least like pretty significantly upgraded from what the Browns were trotting out for a lot of Stefanski's tenure. And I think, to your point, like, Stefanski's offense felt so towards the end, just felt so formulaic and so like, we're going to play action. We're going to run a tight end screen. We're going to we can't really push the ball down the field. So we're going to we're going to run a bunch of glance routes and like all the stuff that he loved, that just got to the point where it was like, this offense is so hard.
The whole offense was designed around giving you a 3rd and 2. Like, that was,
exactly. Exactly. It was like, can we see the first down line from where we are?
Right.
Okay.
Without craning our necks. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I very much agree that I'm looking forward to a very different type of offense being run with Todd Monken. And I think it speaks to something else that I've seen. And training camp, again, is so hard to parse exactly what they're working on, what's real, what's not. But I do think you can take away that, like, they want to get the ball to their playmakers, which I know sounds like very, very basic. But even there's teams in the NFL that don't do it, where they just get away from getting the ball to their best players. And in preseason, it has been like, we are throwing it to Denzel Boston. Like, we're throwing that dude the ball. We're throwing Casey Concepcion the ball. I'm excited to see that. I'm excited for, like, I think because Harold Fannin was hurt for a little bit and didn't start practicing, and there was so much talk about the 2 wide receivers, that you sort of forget that Harold Fannin was like one of the few bright spots offensively last season. And I think that sort of trio, plus maybe Isaiah Bond, I don't know what's real and what's not.
Could be.
He certainly looks like they took him and were just like, hey, what if you played every snap this season, even though you have no idea what you're doing last year? And he's like, yeah, sure.
Beats going to jail.
Yeah, oh, folks. But he's made a couple of really nice grabs in training camp. So I think from that perspective, that's why, when it always does have to go back to the quarterback, it's so frustrating, because I don't know about 8 or 9 wins, but I think, like, there is some legitimate juice in that room. I think, again, the offensive line remains, I think, just a concern about how that unit's going to perform.
Right.
But, like, skill position wise, yeah, man, it's fun to have a bunch of young dudes flying around who look like they actually might be really good at football. And I think this first preseason game will hopefully give us a little bit of a glimpse of, like, oh, damn, Denzel's a dude out there, like, that's a guy. And so yeah, from that perspective, that's what I'm going to sit down. That's what I want to watch.
Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. I think, there's been even like whispers of, I mean, not whispers, but I've noticed some conversations about this happening at the national level, right? Like, where people kind of want to buy the Browns as a sleeper. I think part of it is just getting Stefanski out of here. And I think Todd Monken has a lot of respect, as a play caller nationally. So I think there's that. And obviously people are held back by the perception around the quarterback thing. The guys at the Athletic Football Show were pitching the idea of trading for Spencer Rattler earlier this week, which is another name like Anthony Richardson, where it's like, yeah, that would definitely make the team better. I mean, there's no question. And, like, I don't know that I'm so high on the squad, just because there's so many unproven people in different situations. And you like they did trade Myles Garrett, so like that the defense is, I think, much more suspect than I just need to see it. I guess I don't want to say that they're suspect, but I need to see it because they don't have the current best defensive player in the world. But I do think that there's a little bit of momentum building here, and I think like it's going to there's a little bit of a stronger case for optimism about this team than maybe I expected there to be a week or two ago, which is exciting. And I think part of that is just what happens for Browns fans every August is that you like find a way to make the argument. But I don't know. I think I mean, even thinking back to last year, I had a harder time making the argument last year because I thought the quarterback situation was handled so poorly throughout camp. And I mean, you say what you want about like the competitors in this, the way the competition has been handled, I think, has been much more intelligent from Monken. The way that he's basically said, well, it's going to be one of these two guys, and we're just going to alternate them all the way through and then make a decision. Like, yeah, that seems sensible. Whereas, I mean, obviously the Kenny Pickett injury, it's a crazy sentence to say. The Kenny Pickett injury, changed their plans at quarterback last year, but that is true. Yeah. Factually, that is true. But I also think Stefanski didn't really know who he wanted to win it. So he kind of just like rolled the ball out in the grass and was like, figure it out, guys. I'm going to be in Atlanta in 6 months. I can already tell. So, I think that, the competitors make it less appealing, but I think overall there's been a feeling of like, okay, maybe there's something here that we can get excited about in a way that I really don't like, whether it was Flacco or Pickett or whoever last year. There was never a point during that preseason where I was like, okay, all right. It was never clicking. Like it seems like it has at times, even with Watson and Sanders behind center, it has clicked a few times, at least in practice so far.
Yeah. And I mean, I think they just have not had receivers that can make.
That's what it comes down to.
Like especially even when balls are not thrown well and they can still go up and get them. Like it just makes you the gravity that creates and the excitement that creates. Like the Browns have just not had that, especially in a rookie wide receiver, but really in anybody that's been on this roster skill position wise for a while. And I do think like. We gave the Browns a lot of gruff for their head coaching process, searching process, which they still deserve to this day. And I don't know what Todd will be or how long he'll be here. I do think there has like I appreciate some of the differences between him and Stefanski, especially like when he apologized for like getting mad at the offense. I was like, don't do that. Like this
we
is
like
team,
it when you're mad.
Get mad at me. But like when this is a team and these are people and personalities and egos on this offensively specifically that need somebody to be like what are you? This is awful. What are you doing? And I'm not saying Stefanski never did that, but to just like even have some sort of visual evidence that he's like very passionate and cares about how poor the operation is going has been good. And then I think this clip got passed around a lot on Twitter, but he was mic'd up for one of their practices and he was really every opportunity he got, he talked a lot, but he was teaching. Like he was very
he's a coach.
He's a coach. That dude's a coach. And I think like for as many young players offensively as they have, maybe for at least 1 year, he's a good person to have in that building. And again, this could all fall apart the minute we watch them preseason. It's like, oh, did they practice at all? What are these? But I think just from like an initial perspective of him, I think he's grown on me in some of those ways in terms of how he's interacted with the team. So, I mean, this is like, if you can't be positive now, then there's no time you're going to be positive. So this is the one time where we can be like, these are the things we're looking forward to. But yeah, I mean, it would be great if there were some catches made in that first preseason game that was like, hell yeah. Like, if that's all we can get from this season, I'm good with it. Like, let's do that. Let's have some cool catches and then that's fine, But yeah, man, I think I'm with you. I think it's like there has been, and specifically that training camp last year where it was like, I don't know what Harold Fannin, I guess. And then it was like, that's it. Like, what are we looking at here? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I think you make a good point about the differences. And I think, like, I'm reflecting on you know, you're right about the talent at wide receiver popping in a way that it hasn't recently. But then also I'm thinking back to like Anthony Schwartz, looking like he never once knew how to play the game of football, right? And I mean, even to a certain extent, Cedric Tillman in a similar way. And like,
Yeah.
I
And
do.
just to not to cut you off, but like
No, go ahead.
also the one receiver they had who could take an end around, like a lot like
Right,
here's Elijah Moore this year. All we're gonna do with
right,
him is have him
right.
take an end around.
Yes,
Like
yeah.
it was like, okay, why is there's this he should not be on the roster for this type of thing. So yeah.
So and I think it's a little bit. This goes back to again. You mentioned the head coaching search in January, and one of the things we said was there's a real chicken and egg thing here with Andrew Berry and talent acquisition, and some of the real
Yeah.
concerns we have about that, and then some of the issues that they called out when they hired Todd Monken about developing players. Like they talked about that they like that he did that. And always you hire the coach that's the opposite or does the thing well that the guy you fired does poorly. And Chad O'Shea was the wide receivers coach here the entire time, and he
Whew.
never looked like he knew what he was doing.
No.
And it's one of those things where is there like is there a theory that you can put together that's like the Browns maybe didn't pick the best players, but were dealing with a little bit of a stacked deck because they didn't have high picks for a lot of their time and they were trying to do the best with what they had, and then those guys just did not get coached properly.
Yep. Yep.
And a lot of offensive talent. I mean, you think about like Austin Hooper comes here on a gigantic contract, and then like 2 years later is like off the team, and then goes on to have more of a career elsewhere. Like there are examples of that around this team of like guys that kind of came here and flatlined and then went and found success elsewhere. And I think you can make an argument that like one of the things that needed improved with this team specifically was exactly the type of coaching that Todd Monken was doing on video in that mic'd up segment that you're talking about. So yeah, I mean, again, does this get them to like being a playoff contender? I think that's a very different conversation and just reflective of like still some talent deficiencies in the roster and obviously the quarterback nightmare. So like I'm not trying to get there, but I am trying to say that it is. I think it was always going to feel good to have a different head coach than Kevin Stefanski because
Yeah.
it's just how the NFL works. Like that person is in front of you so often that you're like, oh, I'm glad he's not here anymore, and it's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you read a quote of his from like Atlanta from Falcons, you're like, oh, I feel chills all over my body. He's
There is I mean, people have been compared. There's a mic'd up video of him in
of course,
Atlanta,
yeah,
and
yeah.
everybody's
Like,
like,
are
he
you
couldn't.
alive? Could you fog
He
a
was
mirror
like,
right now?
he couldn't motivate a soul.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
it's very,
Totally. Yes.
and you're like, yeah, that personality by the end of it,
Right. Exactly.
is a little
Exactly.
grating. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. So,
And I think that's just how the NFL works. Like,
yep.
it's not a league where if you're not winning consistently, you don't usually get as much time as Kevin Stefanski got. So I do think that's all understandable. And I'm sure it feels that way to the players too. And I think, like you said, can we get some cool moments out of this whole thing? And, look, I mean, I'll just say it. Can
Yeah.
one of these
Why don't you say it?
quarterbacks play? Like, I don't mean well, but
Hey,
like, can they play?
yeah.
I'll take
Can
any of the four are eligible, right? Like truly.
yeah.
Anybody,
It's
anybody wants to walk up and like actually play football, they're
and just
welcome to.
like running. I mean, we have not seen, and I hate bringing this guy back into
Oh
it.
boy.
We have not seen an offense like run professionally since like Baker Mayfield. Like,
Correct. Well, Flacco, I would say,
true. I'm sorry. No
Yeah.
disrespect, Joe Flacco. Sorry,
No, but I
forgot
think
you.
I
But like,
think your point is well taken in terms of like they have not come into the season with the guy that was clearly that
yes,
guy since
yes.
Baker Mayfield. Yeah.
Baker Mayfield. We have watched from Dorian Thompson
Yep.
Robinson to Deshaun Watson himself to
Mhm.
Shador and Dylan Gabriel and everybody else. Like some of the worst, where like you're watching a play where it looks like they just installed it in a high school practice, and they
Correct.
have
Yes. They drew it up in the huddle. Yeah.
some of the worst
Mhm.
execution you have ever seen. And yeah, so to your point of like, can they just look like? And I think this to me is why Monken saying like, can I just have a quarterback
Yeah. That's what I'm
that
hearing.
like we're
Yeah.
not about to false start
Right.
once every third
Mhm.
drive. We're not about to um like fumble the handoff or
Right.
like misread whatever it is. Like at least having a quarterback that can get up there, that can take the snap, that can go through his progressions, and it looks like a professional football team
Yeah.
because it has not in a very long time.
Correct.
And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the answer there is going to be, and I feel skeptical of
Sure.
it. I think the only thing I can give, and I hate to do it, hate to give anybody some sort of credit here, but the only thing that you can maybe give
There you go.
Watson is that he's played football for many years,
Yes.
not recently.
Right.
But
Yeah.
like
Right.
as somebody who has been through a growth process as like a person who can operate an NFL offense, and I think that's why he's starting this
I agree.
first preseason
I
game.
totally agree. Yeah.
And again, to your point, that bar is on the floor,
Right.
but also it's like we can simply not watch what last year specifically with
Correct. That's what it is.
how they tried to run
Yeah.
offense was
Right.
just, I mean, embarrassing.
And I think one of the things that I would say there is like I gave Flacco credit for running the offense efficiently. That didn't
Yeah.
help last year.
No.
Like he still
No.
did get people lined up and like ran the offense efficiently, and it
looked
still
terrible.
painful to watch. So
Yep.
this is not the only part of it, but I really think I mean, I think one of the other things about the coach getting as mad as he does about this stuff is that it tells you that if one of these any of them can do it, they're going to get a chance to do it in the regular season. Like,
Yep.
and it sounds crazy, but it's like if Dylan Gabriel is competent with, the third string 2 weeks in a row, does he get second string snaps in the third preseason game or something? Like, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. I'm not saying it's going to happen. But like we're really like the bar is on the floor and we're looking for somebody to just step over it without tripping and falling. That's what we're looking for.
That's all we want.
Yeah, that's all we want.
That's all we want. Somebody just come in, say hike, throw a pass, complete it. I don't know.
Yeah. Did you see that viral video of the guys trying to draw the Waymo offsides?
No, I haven't, but
Okay.
I would actually love to. I would love to do that. I was on a walk earlier today, and Los Angeles is full of Waymos.
Yeah, I bet.
And I was at a 4-way stop crossing the street, and I didn't know if the Waymo was like slowly going from the stop sign. And I didn't know if it was going to let me. I was like, do you want me to go? But there's no one in there, so I can't ask them.
Right.
And I was like, are you letting me cross? Is that why you're going slow? And it was a standoff. It was a whole thing.
Yeah. My advice.
I did cross the street.
So. Oh, did you? And you're okay?
Yeah. I'm okay.
Good. My advice would be to get close enough to kick it and then kick it real hard.
Yeah. Well, they have like Waymo, like VW buses.
Oh, cool. Great.
Out here. Okay. And that's what it was. And I hadn't really interacted with one of those before. So I didn't know what it was thinking, what it was feeling.
Was it feeling patient?
Yeah. I was like, will you let me cross? I have a podcast to do. And it said, I don't know.
Error.
Yeah, error. Hit human.
How many subscribers does the podcast?
Yeah, is it under 100? Because I'm running
you guys
you
can
over.
break 100. I'll let you cross. But one person out there listening to this that hasn't subscribed to our YouTube channel would make my week if they would just like and subscribe. It's such a cliche, but you know what? It's a cliche for a reason. Jordan, the Cavs made a very small basketball trade. You want to talk about a small basketball trade briefly?
Oh God, Andrew, how will you remember the Dennis Schroeder era in Cleveland?
I like the dude. I mean, I was like, I think that is the kind of guy that helps you win playoff games, and that was true.
Yeah, sometimes it was true. Sometimes it was not.
It was very much not true. Yeah,
and also I think he is now he's playing for the Hornets. Is his 12th NBA team, I believe I read earlier. So if I was him, I would just try to play for.
Yeah, go for
I would try to complete it. Just complete the league and have a jersey with every team.
Sorry, I just have to. I'm going to interrupt.
Yeah, say it.
And just reminded that I almost missed a work meeting today because I genuinely was
because of Dennis Schroeder.
I know I was 2 minutes late to this work meeting because I was looking at the college football subreddit and somebody had posted this insane post, and the premise of the post is using only a car, not flying. Can you watch every Power 4 college football team this season?
Wow.
And the answer is yes. And then
the answer is yes.
And so the post is just the list of all of the games that you have to go to and how you do it.
Yeah. Wow. And you're thinking about trying
No, of course not. No, but it just like as a sheer logistical exercise, I couldn't believe. So the premise is that you don't have to watch the entire game.
Okay.
You can just observe you're in the stadium observing a play, And then, so like in some
And
cases,
then you're out of there.
you're going to two games that are happening
Oh,
simultaneously.
I
You're
see.
driving from like Rutgers to Maryland or whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like
yeah.
the idea of that is so like, and I don't think there's any way that you could have done this without, I mean, maybe you could get a little AI help, but like this is a person who just like sat down and did this. Like they
Yeah, they
gave
took a
themselves the worst homework I've ever heard of in my entire life and
Yeah.
then posted it. And
Yeah.
I genuinely like looked at my phone for so long and then I was like, oh, what time is, oh, and then I like
Yeah.
jumped up and joined a Zoom meeting. So,
And you were like, sorry, I was sorry, I was looking at if I could
literally, I
how
mean,
do I attend? Yeah.
there's so many things I would have admitted to before admitting that that's what I was doing. I would have admitted to actual crimes before I would have admitted to getting
yeah.
lost in that Reddit post. But that's
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
did.
yeah.
Anyway, sorry. That's
Anyway.
what made me think about is Dennis Schroeder trying to like drive
Yeah,
to every
trying to
NBA city and
it's
play a
yeah,
game.
and I love that.
Yeah.
That's I mean, I think that's Reddit's purpose is to get lost into something like that.
It
So
was so good. And then I because I jumped up to go to the meeting, I
Yeah.
lost it. I can't find it now.
it's gone.
It's gone.
You'll never see it again.
You deleted it.
Yeah, it's gone.
All right. Go ahead.
Anyway, yeah, the trade I think is pretty insignificant in terms of who the player they got back as like somebody who's going. So Trey Mann, backup point guard. I think most well known because he wears his jersey and shorts in a style like they did in like the 90s where the shorts
Yeah,
are
when I
like
saw the
that
picture of him, I
down
was
to
like,
his
oh.
yeah. So that's fun. I was
I would say
reading some
he's
things.
also notable because he's got the name of a fake basketball player from a movie about basketball.
Okay, yeah, that is also fun. Yeah. So honestly, he's the most fun player in the NBA, and the Cavs should keep him.
It literally looks like he thinks he's starring in a movie from 1997.
He does. Like it's his acting reel for
Correct. Yeah, like he's the foil in He Got Game.
yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, I've got
like,
to
look at those
Trey
dudes
Mann
short.
tonight.
Oh my god. I think they mostly made this move to, and again, shout out to people who like keep tabs on the cap situation and
say it, Jordan. Say second apron.
No, I don't want to. Well, they're not in it. They're out of it. They're out of the second apron.
That's why they did it.
They're below the second apron, folks.
They did it so they could only. They're wearing one apron.
They're wearing one single apron.
Yeah,
and
their slacks
discarded the other one.
Yeah.
This ultimately is so that they can sign one of the two of Jonathan Kuminga or Peyton Watson. One is going to cost a lot more than the other. That is Peyton Watson. But he's a better player than Jonathan Kuminga, in my humble opinion. But that's mostly what this move is. It's kind of crazy that the DeAndre Hunter trade that they made that netted them Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis, who I briefly thought was maybe a great steal from the Kings, and then he just left in free agency. So they have nothing. That trade is done. The loop on that trade has closed and has benefited really nobody because DeAndre Hunter got hurt like immediately in Sacramento. So a weird trade in that it doesn't really like nothing really happened other than shipping out Dennis Schroeder, but they may not even keep Trey Mann. And I think they have one more move that's left to make, and it's Kuminga or Peyton Watson, and that's kind of all they can. That's kind of it for their offseason at this point. So
one word answer: would either Jonathan Kuminga or Peyton Watson change the way you feel about this team in 2026-7?
For one of them, yes.
Watson would.
I think Watson.
Okay, great. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a one-word answer, but
no, it was. Sorry, I said
no. That's great. That's great. So it would actually change the.
He would actually make me really excited because he is like, he's a good basketball player. Sort of a 3 and D wing that we talk about how they don't have any of them.
They do not.
But I think I don't know. Again, like it seems like the financials of still trying to acquire him because he's a restricted free agent, so he has to sign like an offer sheet, and then the Nuggets have to decline to match it. And there's just like all this. So I don't even fully understand how it works. It just seems like they are pretty serious, and it sounds like Peyton Watson doesn't want to be in Denver anymore. So we'll see. But yeah, it would make a difference, and it would be a nice addition.
So I mean, that's I guess like I would say from that perspective, if you see the trade of Schroeder as potentially facilitating that move, if it were to happen, that feels good.
It does. Even if they signed Kuminga, who people have varying opinions about him for good reason. He's been very inconsistent over his career. At least it's like adding a young
Mhm.
6'8", like either one of them, fine. I think Peyton Watson makes a bigger impact than Kuminga does, but
Okay.
they gotta sign one of them. I think
They're legally required to.
they're legally
That's your
required.
Cavs minute.
That's the Cavs
we're gonna
update.
spend 5 seconds on the Guardians.
Uh,
They can't win a baseball game to save their goddamn lives, and it's disheartening in a way that I didn't expect to take it so personally. Like sometimes
yeah,
with the Guardians, you're like, okay, so they're just kind of farting around 500.
yeah.
But like when they with this series with the Tigers, I was just like, what are we doing out there, fellas?
They haven't played a clean game of baseball in
Oof.
like 2 months.
Yeah.
Man.
It's hard not to
It's
look at the
brutal.
manager at this point. I mean, I know that he has won the award like 73 years in a row, but like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, oof. I just, when all else fails, like what's going on?
Yeah.
So I know that's not the most cogent analysis, but
I think you're right in some ways, because when there's sloppiness like all across the board,
yeah.
not just by rookies that you're like, I can forgive
Right.
Angel Hanao for like
Mhm.
booting a ground ball because
Yep.
he's been up for a week. Like,
Yep.
okay, I can forgive that. But like you have so many other mistakes from like even Parker Messick in his start tried to flip a ball to first base and just like threw it down the line. I mean,
Mhm.
it's just like stuff from guys from
Yep.
everybody, honestly. And
And
then
so
you sort of
consistently, like you
so
said, they haven't played a
consistently, yeah,
clean game in 2 months.
yeah. Their
And it
base
that
running is
yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
They're and it happened like Reese Hoskins did it
Mhm.
like when he tried to get back to third base on a
It's
bunt.
the type of
And
stuff where if something came out after the season and it was like
yeah,
Stephen Vogt is dealing with such and such, you'd be like, "Oh, okay, well that explains." Like it feels like maybe he has a second family in Canada that his wife just found out about or something. I mean, I'm not trying to
yeah,
speculate here, but like,
yeah.
and I don't mean to be
But
if there is some
please
yeah,
credit this
obviously, right,
podcast
obviously. Yeah, I want credit for
if
two
that's
things.
true.
Deshaun Watson
Yeah,
death march, and if
yeah,
that Stephen Vogt second family in Canada thing pans out.
that's
I
us.
mean, if it's something serious, obviously, I don't want to be
Sure.
making light of it. And maybe it's nothing, in which case it's like, okay, well, what the hell's going on? But it does feel like the entire team is distracted. Like the entire
Yeah.
team is playing as if they just found out that their car is being towed. Always.
And it's specifically, it's weirder because they made moves at the trade deadline
Right.
that you
Right.
thought would like energize this
Yes.
team, and
Yeah.
it
Kind of
has
clarify the
done,
purpose. Yeah.
yeah, and it's sort of done the opposite.
Yeah.
No, I think there's, again, we can have a, depending on if they miss the playoffs entirely, it's like there's a longer conversation to be had. But I think like there's a lot of things that, and I felt this way about like Tito at the end of it too, where
Right.
it's like a guy that the locker room clearly loves, like they love him as like a person who communicates with
Mm-hmm.
players, and that is a lot of the job. But
Sure.
then you look at like the sort of tactical stuff, and it's pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like that's how I sort of have felt about Vote this year, is that they've taken a lot of steps backwards, but in some ways, some of the stuff they're bad at, they've always been bad at.
Mm-hmm.
And the hitting specifically, they're sort of their love of platooning, and we have to have a lefty in the lineup against a righty, even if that lefty is Petey Halpin, which is like he's in the lineup today, and it's
Yeah,
like,
it's insulting.
sure, oh,
Yeah.
you guys want more Petey Halpin? For here he is. So,
Right.
I think there's a lot of things going on there, but it is just generally, I think they were 31-22 at one
Yes.
point, Andrew.
Yes. I remember we were potting at that point. We were like, "Hey, we
Yeah.
said they were going to fart around 500 the whole season and barely pull off
Yeah.
a playoff spot." And we were like, "We were wrong. This is going to be great."
They have the second worst record in baseball since the All-Star break, which seems unfathomable. Only the A's have been worse, and the A's are really bad. So,
Yeah. And I think there's some of it has been luck, but I also think the way that
For
they are
sure.
playing does not create luck. Like they are playing in a way where they are taking pressure off of their opponents at almost